was Vivian Ogu? Good morning, Father, and happy to have you here.
Good morning, sister.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Father Stephen Dumbiri of the Catholic Archdiocese of Benin City.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So you are welcome, Father.
Thank you, sister.
Yes. We want to congratulate you on the work you are doing, because I understand that you are the director on the movement for the canonization of a 14-year-old girl that was killed in Nigeria some years back, and is on the way to sainthood. And we've seen a whole lot of things that you have done and you are still doing. So it's in regard of this that we want to ask you some questions. And we hope that you give us the honest discussion, or you discuss honestly with us on the process so far. So I would like to begin that, who was Vivian Ogu?
Thank you very much, sister, for this opportunity to talk about the cause for the beatification and canonization of Vivian Ogu. Vivian Ogu was a 14-year-old girl who lived a virtuous life in Benin City and died a heroic death by opting to be killed instead of being sexually defiled. Vivian was born in Benin City on the 1st of April, 1995, and she was a parishioner of St. Paul Catholic Church, Airport Road, Benin City. Just before her death, like 3 years before her death, she was already the president of the Holy Childhood Association, one of the 4 societies of the Pontifical Mission Societies. She was the president in her parish. And also, she was the choir mistress of the children choir in her parish. And she was a very strong member of the Catholic Charismatic Renewal, and also a member of the Legion of Mary in her parish. But she was very active and prominent in the Catholic Charismatic Renewal because she was one of those organizing the children of the society whenever they meet during the holiday. They call it teen meeting at that time. So Vivian was very prominent in her parish. From the age of even 9, 10, she was already prominent in her parish. Now, as a parishioner, being the daughter of a very active parents, Mr. and Mrs. Peter Ogu, who they also live in Benin City. They have their residence in Benin City, but they are from Mbise, from Yogu local government area in Mbise, Imo State. So Vivian lived with the parents, and she was very active both in church and in the school. She was very intelligent and always represented the school in so many competitions. And apart from the activities, academic activities in school, she was also very prominent in organizing her classmates and her peers for prayers in the school. Even though the school was not a Catholic school, Greater Tomorrow Secondary School, Benin City, but she mobilized her classmates. She was always mobilizing her classmates and peers for prayers. And she was the assistant prayer leader in her school at the time of death. As the president of the Holy Childhood Association in St. Paul Catholic Church, Vivian made a lot of impact in the life of children and even youths and adults because she was motivated by the life of Saint Maria Goretti that she got in contact with during one of the Archdiocesan seminars organized for the Holy Childhood children under the Pontifical Mission Societies. So because of that, she took up the story and encouraged other children to follow the example of Saint Maria Goretti. That even if it means them giving up their life, and they should not allow anything to take their virginity until marriage. So she was known for that in her parish and even in her school. And also as president of the Holy Childhood Association in her parish, she motivated so many children to assist poorer children, both in the parish and in the society. She will always organize fellow children. They will go to Central Hospital, Benin City, to identify children that are poor and can't pay their hospital bills. They will assist to the best of their ability. They will collect money in the parish, go and pay for the bills of these children. Also give them some food items to go to orphanage homes to distribute food items to orphans. And then she also was in the habit of talking to children always, especially after the children mass, which will always end before that of the adults. So they will need extra time after the mass while waiting for their parents. There's always extra time, so they'll have a lot of time to play with. So the animators will always invite Vivian to talk to other children about the need for them to defend their purity, and she was always talking about that. She had two important topics that was very dear to her. That was on this issue of purity and virginity and poverty. You recall that the New Year message of Pope Benedict XVI in 2009 was on peace and poverty. How, if we want peace in the world, we have to eliminate poverty. So the Archbishop then asked all societies to study that document and give a proposal on how the church can act on that. The Holy Childhood had a seminar on that. Vivian was one of the resource persons, and she talked to other children about how to help others who are poor. And she even wrote a poem on poverty, which was published in the children newspaper. We call it Friends of Jesus. So first child to publish a poem in that newspaper. So in her parish, she was already very prominent to the extent that when adults were invited to give talk, even in her parish and other parishes, if you sent out some purity, to always go with Vivian, give her 5 minutes, 10 minutes to add to whatever they would have talked on. Sometimes they will even send her alone to go and talk, if the topic is on purity, virginity. So she was already prominent and well known in her parish, and she made a lot of impact. As a matter of fact, because of her zeal for things of the Lord, she already embarked on commentary on the Bible. She started from the Gospel of St. Matthew. She was on chapter 16 when she was killed. So you can see that even before the death of Vivian, she already made a lot of impact. She already followed that path of sainthood even before this issue of her being martyred.
Yeah, thank you very much, Father. With such an inspiring short life and motivated life, what could have resulted to her being murdered at that early age? Why? Why was she killed?
Well, first of all, the armed men who came to the house came as the usual, as armed robbers for usual robbery. Coincidentally, the very day Vivian was killed, on the 15th of November 2009, she spoke on this same topic in St. Paul Catholic Church around 8 to 9 a.m., motivating the children and telling them to defend their virginity, even if it means them giving up their life. So when the armed robbers came to their house, and after collecting what they could collect from the family, they took Vivian and the sister to the nearby bush. In fact, their house was, as of then, the house was their house was the last house on that street. So after their house, you have a large expanse of bush. So they took them to the bush. And the armed men were three. The leader was having a gun, and the other two had battle axe. So the leader that was having a gun, and the one of them that was having the battle axe was on Vivian, while the other one that was having just battle axe was on the sister. Actually, it was the elder sister, but Vivian was bigger in stature than the elder sister. She was quite big, and so maybe that confused them, and for them, they wanted to go for her instead of the sister. So the two of them were on Vivian, while one was on the sister. So she was even telling the sister, because they asked them to down and they could hear each other. She was even the one telling the sister that don't allow them, even if it means them killing us, let them kill us here. Don't allow them. So she was the one telling them they are Christians, they would rather die than being fired sexually. So it was when the armed robbers saw that she was determined and she was vehement on that, and they made her understand that the implication of not allowing them to defile her, and she said that she prefer that. So they shot her on the stomach. So when they shot her, even the one that was with the one that was on the sister was just having battle axe. So, and that one was distracted by the fact that Vivian was not allowing the one with gun and with the other battle axe. The one with gun was their leader. So he was distracted with that. So because of that distraction, the sister, it was at night, so the elder sister was able to escape from the grip of the one that was having just the battle axe. So that was when she heard the gunshot that killed Vivian. So when she heard the gunshot, she laid on the floor, and after some minutes, she came back and saw Vivian. Vivian was still alive then, but she could not carry Vivian because Vivian was bigger than her. So Vivian asked her to go and call the parents. So she went to the house. She was able to locate the house, saw the parents, but because of the trauma, she could not lead them to the exact spot. She was leading them to the wrong direction. So they were searching the wrong direction, or the wrong the location in the bush. So they couldn't find Vivian. It was the following day that the body was discovered in the bush. So that was how the police took up the case, and then autopsy and all that. But today, the robbers were not caught.
Thank you very much, Father. The story is so pathetic and social life. I think maybe God has already prepared her. He has prepared her with so many things, maybe with the intellect, spiritual strengths, and even physical strengths, that she will be able to carry this. I believe God has a purpose for everything. So that was the way God has destined her. So since after her death, you said died, his death was heroic and all that. So what's so significant about that? And, we can see that many people have been killed every day and all that. So with Vivian's death, what's so heroic? What's so significant about it?
Yes. In fact, many people ask that question. Why are we focusing on Vivian alone? People are killed even for refusing to be raped in this same Benin City. But from the story of Vivian and the motivation she had given to so many youths and teenagers, so many of our classmates who can still testify today that it was because of the mentoring of Vivian that they were able to live a virtuous life. So we believe that God gave her the opportunity to put into practice what she had been preaching. So in the case of Vivian, we can see someone who is able to give example with her life to what she had been preaching. So that's why the Archdiocese of Benin City considered it very important to push for her case, because it will be a source of encouragement, a source of motivation for young girls in Benin City. You know that for some years now, when you talk about prostitution, you talk about trafficking, all eyes will be on Edo State, all eyes will be on Benin City. At least this will be something, a narrative that will be different from what we are used to, and be able to like correct the whole impression about Benin City, that it's not just about having reward and guests and all that. We still have virtuous people in Benin City. So even the Edo State government recognized this fact. That's why immediately Vivian was killed, the land on which she was killed belonged to Edo State government. So the governor gave it to the Archdiocese of Benin City, gave about 12 plots from that piece of land to the Archdiocese of Benin City for us to immortalize Vivian. And that was done so that the church will have opportunity to use the place where she was killed to champion that cause. So even the local government named the street when the whole place was opened up 2 years after. The local government named it after her. And then since 2010, the Archdiocese of Benin City has been organizing pilgrimages to the place where she was killed. First of all, the Saturday closest to 15th of November, we all gathered there for Vivian Ogu Memorial Day. And every third Saturday of the month, children and teenagers take turns to go from parishes to the place to pray, and also for the masses are celebrated for them. So because of that, the place where she was killed has now been established as Vivian Ogu Missionary Animation Center. And in 2014, the Catholic Archbishop of Benin City inaugurated the Vivian Ogu movement. The goal or the objective of that movement is to, first of all, talk about the story of Vivian. Secondly, get people to seek the intercession of Vivian, and also to coordinate the development of the land that the government gave to the Archdiocese of Benin City to immortalize Vivian. So on that same year, the Archbishop approved the prayer to seek the intercession of Vivian. Now that the course has started, the Vivian Ogu movement is the actor, as the Vivian Ogu movement requesting the Archbishop to open the course. And I'm the director of the movement, as different from the postulator. So since 2014, when the movement was established, we have been talking about the Vivian Ogu, and we have been relating with so many persons about her. Then in May this year, specifically on the 10th of May 2023, a postulator was appointed for the course, the person of Christiana Marinelli. She lives in Rome. She's an expert on the course, and she is the postulator of the course of the beatification and canonization of Vivian Ogu. And then she has submitted the supples libellus, that is the official request from the actor and the postulator to the local ordinary to initiate the course. And As soon as that was done, the Archbishop presented it to the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria. On the 14th of September, the bishops gave their votes that the course should go on and that should be of great pastoral benefit to the church in Nigeria. So on that, on the 7th of October, the Archbishop issued the edict, which is to be published for 2 months so that witnesses can come forward. After that, and as soon as we get the nihil obstacle from Rome, the tribunal will be opened in Benin City.
Thank you very much, Father. I've been listening to you with keen interest and everything in me. You have already started it because I'm going to ask you that what are the processes that have been taken since you are moving, I mean, as Archdiocese, for the beatification and canonization of Vivian in their time. So you have told us about the actor and prosecutor that have been already selected and have delivered their reports and all that. So what are the other things that you have done? Because I realize that she's now a servant of God. So in what process have you taken and what is the next one? Is it going to be, is it already venerable or you know? So in that area, I want you to
usually the process is such that when anyone dies, of course, wait for 5 years. After 5 years, if an individual or an association or the bishop himself feels that the person has the life of the person is worth promoting, and the life of the person is worth pursuing cause for canonization, then the postulator will be appointed, which we have done, and then a supplex libellus is presented, which has been done. Once the supplex libellus is presented and is accepted by the bishop, the person becomes servant of God. That means that the diocesan process has started. So we are the diocesan phase now. So once the diocesan phase starts, the person becomes a servant of God. So she was very young and she didn't have any publication as such, except that poem she wrote. But it's still required by law that the bishop of that from the different dicasteries in Rome, asking if there's anything that will stop Vivian from being beatified or canonized. So we have sent that and we're expecting a response from the Holy See. Once the bishop gets that, the tribunal will be opened. We have submitted a list of witnesses, and the witnesses will be called and interviewed. The bishop will appoint the delegates, we appoint defender of justice, and then we have the person, the theological commission, the history commission, all that has been put in place. We will come to the tribunal, defend her works, defend her heroic life. And after that is done, towards the end of the tribunal, we'll now have the authentication of the relic. Now, it's important to note that since the parents of Vivian, although they have a house in Benin City, since they are from Imo State, when Vivian died, they took the body back to Imo State to Mbise. So the body is there now, it was buried there. So it's towards the end of the tribunal that the body will be exhumed and authenticated. That has its own process, application to Rome and everything. The bishop there, we appoint the delegate, and when they authenticate the body, that is when the body can now be brought back so that we continue with the course. And then once we are done with all that, the papers are packaged and sent to Rome. As soon as Rome accepts our papers, our own paper, the diocesan process, they accept it and they begin the Roman phase. That person becomes venerable. It's at that point that the person can be venerable. The beatification celebration of beatification mass is like the conclusion of the Roman feast. So that is when the person now becomes blessed. So we are at the level of servant of God now.
Thank you very much, Father, for the clarification. We thank you. So, all right. Lastly, I will ask you if there have been miracles or prayers attached to a name.
We already have some miracles that have been submitted, and we are looking at them. Although, you know, for martyrdom, you don't require a miracle till the person is made blessed. It is the beatification for martyrdom. You don't require a miracle. But that notwithstanding, we already have a lot of miracles to her name, who received fruit of the womb through her intercession, and people who were mysteriously saved from attacks, robbery attacks, and all that through her intercession, and a lot more.
Thank you very much. And I also asked to pray for me as I started this course last week, that wherever, however you want this to go, please pray for me and let it be according to the will of God. So thank you very much, Father. So we keep everything in God's hands. Let's continue to pray for God and our Blessed Mother Mary and Sister Saint Maria Goretti to intercede for us as we continue to pursue this. So one day, Vivian Ogu will be a saint by the grace of God. Thank you very much. Yes. And thank you for the good work you are doing, Father.
Thank you.
She will continue to pray for us and intercede for us too. God bless you.
Thank you.